Razabani for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. With me, got Matthew Macklin. You alright?
Yeah, man.
Why do you look so tired today?
Tired?
Yeah.
Had a long week.
Friday afternoon.
I've had a long week.
Here for obviously Quigg Carroll. Quite animated there was Carroll. Quigg seemed a more calm character. Normally, when you have that, it's almost the opposite happens in the ring. What was your analogy from that?
I think they're just two different personalities that prepare in their own way. I think John O'Carroll likes to get fired up, likes to be outspoken, likes to get in the other guy's head. Where I think Quigg's more, laid back, done his hard work, and just focuses on the night. I think he doesn't really get into that too much. That works for him. Everyone's different.
Obviously, Carroll's been in there. He obviously fought Kevin Farmer. I know they've become good friends since, and he's gone out there and sparred him. Quigg obviously went out to America, Freddie Roach. He's now come back to Joe Gallagher. Is this the last hurrah for both?
No, I don't think it's the last hurrah for John O'Carroll. I think if John O'Carroll was to lose in a good fight, let's say, on Saturday night, I don't think it would be the end of the world for him. It would be a setback, definitely. It'd be a setback. He'd have to regroup. But I think he could definitely. I think he could do that. I think if Scott Quigg was to lose on Saturday night, but I think it's the end of the road. I think he would probably retire, or he'd certainly be thinking about it, because it'd be difficult to see how he gets back to the top. And I don't imagine that Scott Quigg wants to be anywhere other than the top. I think he sees this as a fight, a springboard back to the top. So I think it's a must-win fight for Scott Quigg. I don't think it's a must-win fight for John O'Carroll. I mean, he'll think it is because no one wants to lose any fight. But what I'm saying is, I don't think it'll be the end of his career if he got beaten. Where I think if Quigg loses, he'll probably retire.
I just want to speak to generally about obviously Matchroom and Sky Sports. You obviously work for Sky Sports. There was a lot of pressure last year where a lot of the fighters from here went to America to have their fights. We weren't getting the big shows here. We didn't get Joshua. I think we got Dylan White once. Not many pay-per-views last year. No. And obviously fans were complaining, but Eddie was coming back with saying they pay more right for you out there, and it's better for the fighters financially. This week was announced that DAZN are going to be launching in the UK and in boxing. What do you think that puts Sky Sports now? Obviously, Matchroom are in the middle with a relationship with both, but are we going to see what we saw in the mid-90s, a demise of Sky Sports and boxing?
No, I don't think so. I think it'll just... look what happened in America when DAZN announced their deal. Then ESPN announced a further deal with Top Rank and Extension. In fact, they ripped up their old one, announced the 7-year one. And Al Heyman announced a deal with Fox. I think all that happened was everyone upped their game, and actually the marketplace became way more competitive. But who wins in that?
Fighters.
And the fans. The fighters and the fans. The promoters are like grafting like hard, and their marketplace is so much more competitive and difficult and hard work, and they've got to pay more and they're losing more. But they've got to work through that if they believe in themselves to provide the best service, the best fights, and to promote the best shows. But so I don't think it's going to be a demise. I think you're going to see more boxing than ever, and you're going to see good fights, and I think it's going to be a boom. Listen, that's how I see it. It's going to be I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's more boxing on TV. It's more competition. People fight for. People paying more fighters more money because they want to get the best fights. So I think it's just going to make things more competitive. I think the TV networks and the promoters are going to be grafting hard, but I think the fans are going to be the winners.
Obviously, the heavyweight division is booming right now. Eddie announced some major fights this week. Before we speak about those fights, I don't think you were in Vegas 2 weeks ago, were you? Or not?
No, I wasn't. No.
Obviously, you watched from home, but
yes.
A masterclass performance from Tyson?
Yeah, completely. He did exactly what he said he was going to do. I thought Tyson would win the fight on points by boxing him. And of course, you could never write Wilder off because you think he only needs one. But the way he did it, and he said he was going to do it that way, but I think everyone thought he's not going to do that. But he went out there and he backed him up. He took the play away from Wilder. He took his leverages away. He kept him backed up, kept him offsetting, off balance, where he could never get to a point where he could actually get set to generate power. So it was great tactics. Take the play away. Backed him up, man. And then he busted him up with the straight shots. He's got a great jab, fast jab, nice long right hand. Was busting him up at long range. And then actually when they came together, he put that 9.5 stone and just ragdolled him, manhandled him, pushed him back, intimidated him that way. Never mind the intimidation, staring people down. That's all superficial BS. You know what I mean? That's not going to work when you're that long in the tooth and that far down the line. But when you're in there with someone and you're manhandling him and you're nudging him off, and then you step into him, that's intimidating him. You know, that's you're manhandling him, you're throwing him around, you're bossing him, you're dictating. Listen, I'm the gaffer here. And you could see that in Wilder. He was a bit, ooh, you know, he was getting busted up on the outside. Then he was trying to get close. He was getting ragdolled. You know, it was a pretty flawless performance from Fury.
Do you think that he had that style in him, that way of fighting? He's known to be someone that feints a lot, throws a jab, goes on the back foot a lot more, makes you miss. But did you know he had that on the front foot? And he literally, if you look at the fight again, from the very first round, the bell went, he ran to the centre of the ring and took control.
No, I mean, Fury's great at feinting. You know, never mind feinting, double feints, triple feints. You know what I mean? Feinting with the eyes, feinting with the feet, the hands, everything. So he's always feinting you, which is making you upset, and you can't get set and relaxed. So you're burning nervous energy. But the way he did it in terms of stepping into the centre of the ring and backing him up, and I was surprised how he ragdolled him, wrestled him, and pushed him, and just completely controlled him. I was no surprise by that. Definitely, I think everyone was. And that's why everyone's raving now by what a performance.
Deontay Wilder came out and obviously gave his reasons a few days later on why he lost this fight. What did you make of his?
Listen, he's searching for something, isn't he? He's searching for why it didn't go the way he felt or was confident it was going to go. Whatever. I think if he's going to improve on the last performance, though, you can't be in denial about what happened and improve, because you're not dealing with it. You have to accept what happened, why it happened, where you fell short, and then rectify that in the gym, and hopefully then translate that onto the night of the fight. Fighters who lose and come back better are fighters that accept where they fell short. You know what I mean? They don't. People who try and search for reasons and excuses are in denial about what happened. They're the people that don't improve because they haven't dealt with what had to get dealt with. Do you know what I mean? First you've got to accept it, then you've got to deal with it, then you've got to know how to deal with it, and then you've got to put that action in to deal with it, and then you can improve, and then you can turn a negative into a positive. But if you're in denial about what happened, you can't fix it.
Paulie Malignaggi did an interview. I know you know Paulie very well, and I've always said that you and Paulie are my favourite too, especially when you're together.
Well, I think generally we sing from the same hymn sheet. We see things quite similar. Occasionally we disagree.
So he said in a podcast that he did that Deontay Wilder has too many yes men around him. Somebody should be saying to him, you were bad, you were just not good, rather than giving excuses. And
well, what I just said, if he's going to improve on what happened, he has to accept what happened, not make excuses about what happened. He has to accept where he went, what went wrong, how it went wrong, and how do I improve on this? How do I stop that happening again? And how do I improve on it? Mark Breland is the man who stopped the fight, who was absolutely 100% spot on to stop the fight. That's the guy I'd be listening to, because that's a guy that's been there, done it, ain't got no ego, knows his boxing inside out, upside down, and principally and morally he's in the right place. He cared about Wilder, he cared about him as a person, cared about his future. If he'd have left him in there for another few rounds, he might have got that much of a beating, he might have knocked out cold. That might have been a lot harder to come back, but he stopped the fight. He knew his man couldn't win. He hadn't won a round, he was getting beaten up. The writing was on the wall. He could, so he had the experience to see where it's going. I don't need to see it go there. I can see where it's going. My job now is to stop it getting there.
So what did you make of JDS's comments when he said he shouldn't have thrown the towel in? We had a discussion. I said no, but he threw the towel in, and I wouldn't have done that.
Because maybe his ego on the line of winning, because he's been vocal in the build-up and he's envisaged how this fight's going to play out and we're going to win. Maybe that was more important than Deontay Wilder's health and career. Maybe that was clouding his judgment, because it was Stevie Wonder could see he wasn't going to win that fight. The fight was only going one way. Mark Breland isn't a genius for stopping it. Everyone could, I mean most experienced people in boxing could see the way it was. Mark Breland was a good man because he had enough about him to make that hard decision. When I say a hard decision, I don't think it was a hard decision. It wasn't a hard decision from the casual watching it. I can see why it's going. But if you're in that corner and it's your person and you're his friend and you've worked hard in the gym and you're in it and you want to win, it's harder to make that decision then. Do you know what I mean? It's easy when you're sitting up in the football stand telling what Alex Ferguson should be doing, but when the accountability is on you and the responsibility is on you, the decision making is a more difficult thing then. You know, because we're all scared of making the wrong decision. So, you know, what I'm saying is the writing was on the wall, but at the same time, Mark Breland made that decision. You know, it was on. He stepped up and stepped up against the wishes of the other guy. You know, the other trainer, and said, "Nah, that's it. I'm stopping the fight." You know, it was a bit like, remember years ago when Muhammad Ali, I think he was fighting. I don't know which fight it was. Larry Holmes. I think we fought Larry Holmes and, you know, Angelo Dundee. So I'm stopping the fight. There was one of the guys who go, no, and he said, "No, I'm chief second, and I'm stopping the fight." You know, I don't care what he wants to fight. He wants to fight. Of course, he wants to carry on. He's a fighter, but I'm the chief second, and I'm stopping the fight. And that's a good second man. That's a good corner man that does that.
Deontay Wilder's obviously decided to take the rematch. Looks like July. I think it has to be done by July 18th. Not sure how the Brits are going to cope with the heat in July, but does he have no choice but take that rematch?
I think in the aftermath of the fight, a lot of people were hoping that he wouldn't take it and that we could go to the straight into the Joshua Fury fight. But legally, he has a contract where he can exercise that rematch clause. Now, maybe from a business point of view and financial point of view, and all the people involved and everything want that to happen, but I don't know from a boxing point of view. Would I want, if I'm Wilder's brother, do I want him going in a few months' time, going back in to face the guy that just battered him, you know, and knocked the? We don't know what they're saying now. The fight was beaten out of him. You know what I mean? Mark Breland saved him from getting KO'd, but the fight had been beaten out of him. You know, he was a broken man when that fight got stopped. You know, does he want to go straight back in there? Personally, from a boxing point of view, I would, if he was my man, I'd like him to have a couple of fights, get his confidence back, look at where we went wrong in the Fury fight, or where we think we went wrong. Obviously Fury did a lot right, but we would look at things that maybe we could have done to stop that happening again. But it might take a few camps, a couple of fights, get the confidence back to put them right. But probably the money people are going to think, nah, we need to get back in there, we lose too much power, listen, you could knock him out next time, and he could. He didn't suddenly lose his power. Mm-hmm. That could happen, but it doesn't look likely after what happened. The way Fury completely manhandled him and took everything away from him and just dominated him 100%, you know, you would have to say, you know, the right. So, look, I don't see Wilder doing what Joshua did with Ruiz. Rob McCracken went away with Joshua, and they looked at that and they thought, you're coming in too big, you're too muscular, you know, and mentally you looked past him. You didn't give him the respect he should have. Subconsciously, maybe. We trained, we've done a 10-week camp, whatever we did. But you were looking at Wilder, you were looking at Fury, you were looking at the fight in December. You weren't focused. This time we're focused. This time we're coming in on the 16.5 stone. You're going to be more mobile. You're not going to try and stand there and trade at mid-distance. You're not going to hook with the hooker. You're going to box this guy, keep it long, straight shots. When you get close, tie him up. And that's what he did. So he made adjustments. You know, but I don't know that Wilder can make those adjustments. You know, I don't know that Wilder can make those adjustments with Fury. He wasn't looking past Fury like Joshua was looking past Ruiz. That didn't happen. So that's not something he can rectify. That's going to be an improvement. Is he suddenly going to become a slick boxer, Wilder? I don't think so. I doubt it. Maybe. I can't see that. So, you know, how does he rectify it? I don't know. It's more difficult, I think.
Just finally, if it happens this year or next year, but Fury Joshua, biggest fight in British boxing history.
Oh, without a doubt. Two British heavyweight champions fighting the undisputed title.
In Saudi Arabia, of course.
Yeah, which is a bit of a mad one, because obviously you think that fight belongs in Wembley. But, you know, money talks, you know, and they're fighters that...
So let me ask you, as a fighter, if it was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 million difference, would you say no? I stay in the UK.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at 3 times, they're talking numbers 140, 150 million.
Yeah.
It's almost a no-brainer, right?
No, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? And people can say what they like, but everyone would be the same. If you're a plumber and you're getting £100 a day and someone goes, listen, I'll give you £200 a day, you're going to go for the £200 a day. You know, if a fighter's going to get double the money, He's going to do it, and anyone do it. Whether it's a carpenter or a plumber, a car mechanic, a chef, a boxer or a footballer. You know, if you're playing for your football club that you supported all your life for 50 grand a week, you're going to get 100 grand a week. People generally go where the money is, don't they? Money talks, doesn't it? It's a short career, so you have to maximise it while you can.
So it'll be the biggest fight ever.
Biggest fight ever. But the good thing, and what I will say about Saudi Arabia, because obviously we did the Joshua fight out there, from a television point of view, from a time slot, it's perfect.
9 o'clock. UK.
Perfect. People can watch the fight and go out after.
True. Yeah, absolutely true. And obviously, box office will still make 2 million.
I think Joshua Ruiz did like 1.5, 1.6. I can't remember the exact figure, but it was up there. So this, I think it goes way over the 2 million. I think it goes way over the 2 million.
Do you think Tyson, if he adopted the strategy that he did with Wilder on Joshua, do you think he's able to do that, or do you think Joshua is actually 2.5 stone bigger than?
It's a different fight. It's a different fight, and that's an interesting point, because people just think, oh, he's done Wilder, so Joshua got done by Ruiz, and then he beat him in the rematch. You know, and not only that, psychologically and mentally, that took a bit of steel to go back in there and rectify that. Plus, enough sort of humility and belief in your team. You know, there was a lot of pressure on him to get rid of Robert McCracken and to do this and to do that in the aftermath. He didn't. He stuck to, you know, that showed that bond and that belief, and that's a massive asset to you when you've got that strength and that trust in someone. You know, a mentor, not just a coach, but a mentor, and he's got that as he proved by sticking with him. And they sat down and they talked about what they had to do, and then they put it into action over the 6 to 8 weeks, whatever camp they did, and they implemented it on the night, executed the game plan. Hats off to them. That's credit, that is, to where that is. And you know, Wilder one-punch power hits harder than anyone. You know, we lost 6 rounds out of 6 against Ortiz, but he won because he landed that one shot. Now, Fury just took the power away from him, didn't even allow him to get set for power, just kept him backed up, drained him physically, leaned on him. You know what I mean? Just bullied him, completely bullied him. I think Joshua's a different fight, because Joshua isn't just a one punch. You know, Joshua has got a good jab. Joshua can box at range too. I don't think he's as good a boxer as Fury at range, but he can box at range. You know, he throws really good uppercuts on the inside. He's physically imposing himself. He doesn't hit as hard as Wilder with one punch maybe, but he's a better combination puncher, and he still hits really hard. So stars make fights. You know, I think, listen, Fury's the man right now. Joshua's definitely number 2. You know, and listen, Wilder's probably 3 because he's still got that KO. Could anyone else do that to him? What Fury did? No, I don't think so. But, it's exciting times.
Exciting times. Let's hope that fight can happen this year. Yeah. Because anything, as you know, anything can happen in the heavyweight division. Anyone can lose their belts at any given time.
Yeah.
Matt, always a pleasure.
Yeah,
what's your plan for Friday now? What are you doing?
So I'm going to do a couple of
buffet somewhere?
a couple of podcasts with me and Andy Clark. We do the podcast Macklin's Take. So
I'm talking about from a relaxing perspective, not working perspective.
No, well, you know, I am relaxed working in boxing. I love boxing. I'm passionate about boxing. I'm enjoying boxing more now than I did probably in the last few years of my own career. I'm buzzed for it. I can't wait for the fight Saturday. I think Jono and Scott Quigg are going to be a great fight. It's a crossroads fight. I'll be talking boxing. I'll probably do a couple of podcasts. Hopefully, if we can get Frampton, Carl, gonna get Carl on it. If we get Carl, do another one maybe. If not, we'll go for a bit of food and we'll chew the fat.
Just be good wherever you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Matthew Macklin for IFL TV. Thank you very much.